Hello, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us today for our webinar that is titled Phishing for Profits: Why Telco Customers Are Bait for Cyber Crooks. So, let me introduce myself. My name is Nir Baron. I'm the Director of Product Marketing at Allot, and I'm pleased to be joined today by Eva Apesteguia, Senior Director of Cyber Marketing. Hi, Eva.
Hi, hello everyone.
And Angel Fernandez, which is our Vice President of Cybersecurity Products. Hi, Angel.
Hi, Nir, and hi, everyone.
So, Eva and Angel, welcome, and I want to welcome all of you. I see some familiar faces as well. Now, before we get started, I just want to go over some quick housekeeping items. So first, this webinar is being recorded and will be available on demand in the resources section of the Allot website. And when you select the webinars on demand in the resource type filter, right? Other than that, obviously we'll send it over. Feel free to ask any question throughout the webinar using the Q&A window on the right side of the screen. Obviously, there will be a Q&A session at the conclusion of the presentation, and we will do our best to answer all of your questions. So feel free to type them whenever you think of it. After the webinar, we will be sending you a copy of the new cyber threat report, which offers additional information and insights beyond what you will hear today. So, we have a very interesting session planned today, in which we will summarize some of the main conclusions from the latest cyber threats report, which represents and presents the top cybersecurity challenges confronting communication service providers and telco customers. During this webinar, Eva will be sharing some of the highlights of the cyber threat report, and Angel, feel free to chime in whenever you want. So let's get started. Okay. So the rise in cybercrime is real, right? We all know that. We read a lot, we hear a lot about that. And it's on the rise, especially for individuals, for small businesses, for small offices and home offices. Now, many underestimate the threat, assuming that regular internet users are low-value targets. But what really defines a target value? This report explores the motivations behind cybercriminals targeting telco customers and emphasizes the importance of cybersecurity for everyday users. By following the money, we analyze cyber threats that are blocked by the Allot secure solutions, and we shed some light on the underlying business motivations. With our increasing dependence on the digital world, neglecting security is a risk we can't afford. Cybercriminals persist, refining tactics, making online security absolutely crucial. And we all here in the team and the entire Allot team take pride in reaffirming that we have proven to be a reliable ally in the ongoing battle to keep users secure online. So, Eva, let me ask you, what's new in this year's cyber threat report? The floor is yours. Please guide us through the findings.
Okay, thank you, Nir. Before we start, let me make a brief reference to the source of this report. Okay, as you may know, Allot works with dozens of telco operators worldwide to protect their consumers and SMB customer base. And the insights that we're going to share here are based on the analysis that our BI and cyber analyst team did. on the information of cyber protection events during 2023. Okay, so the idea was to take a new perspective and in order to define why it's important to protect our customers, let's understand what are the motivations, right? So we will follow the money, we will analyze different, let's say, business cases that cyber criminals have in order to push them to, let's say, target the everyday person. So what we have here is the first approach is cyber criminals going for the private user data. Okay, so before we go into the concepts, I would like to show a very, very short video. Okay, this is few seconds, but I want us to pay attention to it and think, what do we have inside our devices and why what we have there might be attractive to the bad guys. Okay, so let's me touch here and so yeah, you're worth more than you might probably realize. And why do we say this? Because actually we have so many applications, and in order to add it to access those applications, we have credentials. Some applications are related to services, social media, bank accounts, crypto wallets. Some are more related to things that we do with credit cards, such as e-commerce platforms, betting platforms, information, etc., etc. Only what we share over there, of course, are quite popular, okay, but there are only 15, okay, and probably you will see some that most probably you have inside your phone. So just to put some numbers here, each of those applications have at least millions of users to billions of users, okay? So if I make a sum of the users of only those 15 applications, I will reach something like 13,000 billion credentials, okay? So if we compare this number with the total population of the world, okay, that is around 8,000 billion, we can see that we have much more credentials only in those 15 applications. And why this is important, okay, apart for the fact that are really big numbers. It is important because it happens that there's a black market, okay, there's a market to resell each of those applications if they are hacked by a cyber criminal, okay? And actually they have a value, okay? They are kind of e-commerce for that you can put in the cart, each of these different credentials, and they have a price that goes from $3 to, I don't know, thousands of dollars if for those that are more relevant, okay, and more profitable, such as bank account credentials, credit card details, crypto wallet, access to crypto wallet, etc. Okay, but even the most the ones that even my kids will have in their phones, like a Gmail account, like a social media account, they do have a value. It is more than 2-digit value. So definitely, even if we don't realize, each of us, each user connected to the network and having some active usage of that device, have a potential is a potential target for this type of cyber criminals. So which are the cybercrime actually that goes and look for credentials? We have two types. The first one is phishing, okay, and we all know what is phishing. This is our old, let's say, enemy for cybersecurity. But we also have many new actors that are becoming more and more sophisticated every day. There are the Trojans, banking Trojans, stealers, spywares, etc. They are all definitely going for this type of information. So let's go for some examples of things that we found during 2023 that actually these are just example of use cases that we see that they were repetitive in many different markets around the world. Okay, so the use cases that we saw the most during last year were around retail platforms, okay, online stores. So not really the brand presence of, let's say the online presence of the typical brand, okay, but more this retail platform where different buyers are using the platform to sell their own products, okay. So this might be domains that are more vulnerable, okay. And what we see is that during the different periods of time, they are abusing, okay, these platforms. In that moment, of course, we consider that as malicious. We block our customers from entering and put their credentials in risk. A second use case that was very interesting to see during the 2023 is related to smart gadgets or home devices, okay, that they are very appealing, okay. People are kind of they're aspirational goods that people are really eager to have, especially because they are coming in the form of great discounts, okay, if you're buying this brand in particular, or they are promised huge savings, okay, in the electricity bill is a case that we're showing here. A third use case that actually is a representative of many use cases is about easy money online, okay. And here I'm talking about the raffles and gift cards and becoming a millionaire online, that every day we find that a different excuse to have something like that. Answering paid surveys, super profitable investment, online raffles, online casinos. And again, I'm not saying that all of these type of domains are bad, right? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that these are the domains that usually phishing scams try to impersonate, okay, in order to attract regular users, okay, into engage, participate, and eventually share some credentials and credit card details, some bank account details where they are supposed to get this easy money. And of course, those credentials are lost, okay. So definitely a repetitive use case for phishing that we're finding online. And another one is adult sites. We always see this type of many different phishing sites that are around this world. So again, these are just some examples, okay? There are many more. And as you can see, okay, something that is very important to notice is that when we see in these screens, actually, they are super attractive, okay. The ideas are appealing. The language, the social engineer that is behind this, it's very well designed. Some of this, they might have presence in social media, okay. You know, we can buy followers, so yes, they do have their presence in social media. They do have promotions in social media as well, okay. So it's not that you reach these sites, but maybe you saw some advertisement in TikTok or in some other social media platform, and then you reach the site where you're gonna be you're gonna share your credentials, okay. So I may say that these guys are becoming smarter, okay, every day, and it's not easy to identify what can be safe or not. So definitely a strong an updated solution that will protect me and don't allow me to enter to this malicious site is important. Okay, so let's go to the second type, okay, of crimes related to credential thefts, okay, and this is related to Trojans, okay? So here we are talking about the big players. And I'm saying the big players because if during the phishing engagement, someone will might steal, let's say, my credit card credentials. Okay, that of course is complicated. When we're talking about Trojans, these guys are going for much more. Okay, they might steal all my credentials and go into my search history, and they're gonna understand which are all my scan applications and target different attacks because of that. And they will know my location, and they will access my contacts, and they might even take control of the functionalities of the device. They might even perform online payments with my balance. Okay, so the level of let's say damage, okay, that can be done through these actors is really complicated. Okay, so it's important that we are aware of what is this and how this is targeting our regular consumers. There's a quite interesting article from Kaspersky from November last year that talks about the fact that only during 2023, there were more than 600 million downloads of applications that were related to a malware. Okay, so this is huge, and actually, what is kind of strange, okay, is the fact that this is coming from Google Play, because usually when we give tips, okay, to our users, we said, okay, don't download applications from sources that are not trustful, okay? But what about this? It's Google Play. What is supposed to happen? Okay, so the problem here is that this type of attacks are becoming so sneaky. Okay, it's very, very difficult to detect the malware, because most probably the malware is not there when someone downloaded the application. Okay, there are many different let's say practices that bad actors have. One that is kind of, let's say, a mid-term investment that they do, but actually is quite successful for them, okay, is to launch applications that are quite useful. Okay, so everything that is related to productivity that people might need and they might download, they are not, you don't really need to pay for that. You might say, oh, most probably I'm going to use it in the future, so you don't really remove it. They are launching, they're starting to have a nice base installed. Okay, so there are either reviews online, so people will trust this application, they will download it, and suddenly they will send an update of the application, and through that they will push the infection. Okay, so this is one practice. There are many other practices. For example, these guys are launching the applications with many different developers. Okay, so even if they found one application that is malicious, they might have all their cousins, let's say, that are replicas. They have a different look and feel and a slightly different something, but actually the design of the attack that was planned in that application is the same. Okay, so what usually happens is that these let's say safe applications, they have a very small piece of code that is hidden, okay, that is not really easy to detect. And once the application is downloaded and is working, is up and running, the application is gonna the code is gonna start connect. It's gonna connect to the internet, and from there it's gonna talk to the command and control center, okay, that works with this Trojan. And from there, they're gonna probably download a new payload with the attack that are gonna be the complicated one. Okay, so as you can see, and we can keep talking about different tactics that these guys have. Okay, so it's not easy. Really, it's a challenge. Every day is more complicated. And actually, now I'm gonna talk about how smart these guys are. Okay, so one thing that we saw a lot last year, because we saw a lot of activities, for example, in Copper Trojan, that is a banking Trojan, Actor, Joker, etc. These type of Android Trojans, okay, are actually abusing a functionality that Android has. That's a really nice functionality. That is the accessibility features, okay, that are designed by Android in order to allow those people with special needs to maximize the use of a device. Okay, so if we allow the application to have accessibility access, the application will have, for example, the ability to read something on behalf of me because I cannot read, or they will have the ability to touch something on behalf of me because I cannot touch something. Okay, so imagine if these functionalities are available for a cybercriminal. Okay, they will have total control of what is going on in the device. So when we see really active Trojans going with these activities, many times are related to this, to the abuse of this functionality, and the fact that once they are collecting information, of course, they are using these command and control capabilities to send the credentials to the command central. Yeah.
Okay, just one comment, Eva, if
Yeah.
you allow me to.
Of
I mean,
course.
you just flagged one trend in internet that is, I mean, it's not new, but is gaining significant traction, which is, I mean, the bad guys, the attackers are investing in a lot of efforts, not only in the technology to be able to steal your credentials as you showed, but as well to hide the malware itself, so it's not detected by any of the existing solutions in the market. So even though the technologies that are today in the market to protect SMBs or consumers, I mean, are doing a great job, there is always the possibility that some Trojan, that some malware is really bypassing this type of solutions. So when selecting what is the most suitable solution to be deployed for your consumers and SMBs, our advice is that you guys are not only focusing on the protection itself, which is very relevant, again, it's adding most of the value, but as well in what we call mitigation. So under the assumption that one of these malwares or Trojans has the ability to bypass all these protection measurements, let's find a way to mitigate the impact. And then the Trojan is a good example. If for whatever reason a Trojan has infected a device, the way to mitigate that is by blocking the connection of this piece of malware to the command and control server. So my credentials, for instance, cannot be shared out there in the wild. And for that, many different techniques can be applied. I mean, in the case of a lot, we rely on threat intel to identify command and control servers, for instance, or apply machine learning or artificial intelligence technologies in order to identify when a device is infected and block this connection outside to the world. So even though it is infected, we mitigate it.
Yeah, definitely a very important point. Okay, so if we don't allow the Trojans to reach the internet, that's it. They cannot do anything, right? So yeah, that's super important to complement or to use a protection that comes from the network. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Angel, for that. Okay, so let's move to a new approach. Okay, another way to understand, to follow these business cases, okay, to understand how else cyber criminals are targeting regular users, okay, in order to generate profits. So it's a term from cryptojacking, okay, and what we have here is, let's go back again to the context, okay. Again, we have a very large numbers of users, okay. In this case, the numbers for the end of, let's say, beginning of 2024, we can think about the 500 million users of crypto wallets around the world. There's around 15% adoption between North America and most of the countries in Europe. Of course, numbers may vary country to country, but we are reaching a certain level of maturity, okay? And we know that there are many users let's say, related to crypto. The size of crypto is huge, okay? And this is definitely increasing and increasing every year. And what we are going to focus here is not in those customers who have a crypto wallet, okay? Because as I said, it is 15%, that is important, but it's not everybody. However, everybody has something that is relevant for the ones who wants to mine crypto. So what is the basic resource that is needed in order to allow the cryptocurrencies to exist? Okay, so one, it's computer power, and two, electricity. Okay, so, and even if it might seem super small, okay, the fact that everybody has in their mobile devices, in their computers, computer power, you will have the charge batteries, okay, in our devices. So we have the two main resources for the Trojan miners, the crypto jackers to do their work. Okay, so imagine that you can mine a crypto. Okay, that is a very interesting thing to do to generate revenues, but you don't need to pay for the basic resources. That sounds like a very interesting business case, right? So this is what these cyber criminals are doing. They are going for the computer device of each of the users, let's say, trying to go to as many users connected to the internet, okay, but to use their computer devices in order to mine a cryptocurrency. In the past, this used to be actually while users were using the network, okay? So, and definitely this is still a thing, okay? We see many different actors and domains, okay, that are related to this. However, we also see, again, many Trojans, okay, that are mining coin miner, Mado miner, okay, different cryptocurrencies using the computer powers of the devices all day long, actually, okay, because in that case, the Trojan is already in the device, okay, so it's not that I need to be using my computer, I need to be using my phone, the Trojan is going to use the computer power all the time. And this is why it might happen, okay, because this is one of the signs when a device is hacked by this modality, is that suddenly the device has a very high temperature, okay, and we don't understand why. The battery runs to zero super fast, okay. We might have, I don't know, some shock in the bill for the electricity from my computer that is connected to this issue. So let's say that again, in the case of crypto hackers, okay, the damage to users is not that complicated as if someone steal all my credentials, okay, but definitely can ruin the lifetime of my devices, okay, and they're gonna download the ability for the operating system to provide the things that I want to do online. So definitely a thing that that we need to consider to get protected from, and also such a easy, a simple business case for criminals that we don't see this trend disappearing any sooner. Okay, so let's go to the other side. Okay, the next phenomenon, okay, or the next thing that we want to describe is the digital footprint, okay, as a commodity. And again, let's start by the context, okay? So we all know this, okay? E-commerce market is growing and growing, okay? So tons of users online, billions, okay, of users, they are 2.5 billion users of e-commerce today. This is something that another market that is growing and growing. And even if we are not talking about e-commerce, most of our let's say service and different part of our life is becoming digital. Okay, so once we have much more digital presence, the user information becomes such an important asset. Okay, so and the digital footprint, okay, the what I did or what I'm doing online, what are my interests, okay, what type of activities we do are very, very relevant, because everyone who wants to provide a digital experience online is using advanced analytic tools, okay, so they need to gather as much user information as possible. And with this reality, with this context, of course, cybersecurity issues are around. What we see is that, let's say the following: I enter to a website. Usually I have questions about hey, there are cookies here. We're going to track your service to enhance your online experience, to make your engagement with this website better. And that is perfect. This is how it should work. However, not all the time these type of things are, let's say, safe. Okay, even if it is not because I'm accepting a cookie, that is not. There are kind of similar mechanisms, okay, that they don't even ask for permission. Okay, that what they are doing are collecting and they are tracking the behavior in the same way that a real and good cookie is tracking my behavior online. There are some others that are doing it without your consent, okay, and they're going to collect this information to resell it for you to get targeted advertisement, okay, and not even that, okay, because if it is that, let's say that someone will say, oh, my phone is listening to me. How it comes that I got this advertisement? If I come on, it's like how they are doing magic. No, it's probably they are using your information with your consent, without your consent. That might be an issue, but not that much. What is really complicated is that when the bad guys are handling your are tracking your activity online, they might use this information to target a much personal cyber attack. Okay, so they might know that I just bought something online, and they will send me a communication saying, hey, you need to, your credit card details didn't work, so please add it again, okay, and so on. There are so many cases that we are seeing that it makes the ability to trick customers. Let's say that they are providing smart tools for cyber criminals to trick users in an easier way. Okay, so definitely blocking the spyware web trackers is something that we need to consider. Okay, there's again a really interesting business case for the bad guys. Okay, and is something that that when we see it in this way, we can understand why this is a thing and why will keep happening and why we need to get protected. So another one is the pay-per-view malvertising. Okay, so this is kind of complementary to the previous context. Okay, so we said that most of activity happens online, most of the e-commerce is online, so of course most of the advertisement investment are also online. Okay, so as for today, around more than 60% of the media expenses happen online. Okay, and this is something that is growing and growing. So with such a big amount of money going around, it's interesting to understand which is the business case here. Okay, so how do I measure? Okay, if what is the most important thing if I want to do advertisement online? So of course, the most important thing is to reach the audience. Okay, and once I reach the audience, okay, so someone sees my advertisement, my ad, also they will click, okay, on that ad. So the KPIs are pay-per-view, pay-per-click, etc. Okay, so perfect. This is the context. This is what's going on. So now enter the cybercrime. Which is the cybercrime? Here we have mainly two types. One is adware, and the other one, or let's say something quite similar, but a little bit different, is browser hijackers. In the case of adware, what happened is that when someone is infected by the adware, they will be exposed to a lot of ads that they were not really planned to be there, okay? But someone is pushing, let's say, some advertisement for you to see it, okay? And they will get some money because of that, okay? The thing here is that many times adware is also, it's abusing, okay, this experience, and they are pushing a lot of pop-ups and banners, okay, and actually the experience when someone has an adware in the device is really annoying, okay. But not only that, because again, once this is on the hands on cyber criminals, it's not only that they are gonna collect money because they made you be exposed to certain advertisement, but also they might expose to you links that instead of going to whatever you believe that you're going to a malicious site. Okay, so definitely something that might seem not that much complicated, but is a door, okay, for further attacks. The other one is called browser hijacker, so this is how we call it. And this is a little bit more complicated because in this case, the user, the online user, lose control over his browsing experience. Okay, so I will be thinking that I'm doing, I don't know, a search in my search engine, okay, and I'm gonna get a lot of links, but this is not actually true, okay? So the browser hijacker is exposing me different links that I'm gonna click. Every time I click, there's gonna be a revenue for this criminal, and also there's a very big chance that where I'm gonna click is I'm gonna go to a very risky environment, okay, for potential cybercrime. So again, this is something that is important. That this is a trend that we see from many years already, but it's there. Okay, it's very relevant for customers to get a solution that will prevent, okay, customers from being exposed to adware, okay. They will prevent to reach a situation with a browser hijacker, okay. So they will remain safe online. Well, now we reach the last one, okay, and it is near. Don't worry, I'm just finishing here. This is the last use case that we are going to review, and it's about ransomware. So here I need to clarify something, okay? Because when we talk about ransomware, everybody has this idea in mind that we are talking about, I don't know, large enterprises, government organization, headlines in the newspapers talking about millions of dollars in ransom payments, okay? So sometimes we think, okay, wait, ransomware for regular users, for consumers, for small business, why we are mentioning this here? The thing is, there's a layer of ransomware that is attacking people like me, like you, okay, regular persons in their regular devices, small businesses. Why? Because they are designing this in a small scale, okay. So instead of targeting a specific organization, they are doing this more kind of for whoever, okay, is gonna fall into a let's say, for example, a mass phishing campaign, or whoever is going to download some malware that is going to include this virus that is going to deploy the ransom, okay? And what is going to happen is that once someone gets a ransomware demand, usually they're going to ask for something that is, I don't know, less than $2,000. Okay, this is what we saw for 2023. It was around $1,700. It was the average that we saw for last year. Okay, so definitely is something that people might think about paying, okay, because you want to recover your everything that you have in your device. Okay, so it's a business case that is adjusted, okay, for the small scale, and usually this works in a modality that is called ransomware as a service. Okay, there's malware as a service, ransomware as a service. So this is a thing.
Okay, so if you allow me, Eva, just a couple of words on that. I mean, as you said, I mean, malware as a service is becoming a big thing in the internet. It's not new again, but it's significantly ramping up. So just a few words for those of you not familiar with the topic. Basically, what that means is that traditionally we had the attackers, the hackers creating their own technologies and tools in order to implement any type of attack, including ransomware. As such, the target were the big fishes, the big enterprises. Now, as the business around this type of incidents and attacks is growing and growing, basically the value chain has changed. And many of these attackers are not really implementing the attacks themselves, but what they are doing is they are creating the tools to enable those attacks to be implemented, and they're selling the tools themselves in different markets. So there are specific markets for this type of tools. So anyone, practically, I mean, you, me, anyone with some sort of bad intentions can buy these type of tools and implement his own malware attack or ransomware attack, which is kind of the main focus of these type of tools. And that explains why, I mean, as these type of attacks become massive, it's not only the big fishes, the big enterprises that are the ones that are being targeted, but this scales down to the small SMBs and even the consumer. So as time goes by, we will see more and more of these type of attacks because, again, the tools to implement this attack become a commodity that anyone can use.
Yeah, exactly. That's a thing, and we are not surprised to keep seeing this type of attacks in different markets. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I reached the end. Okay, this is the summary, and just to wrap up here, what we did right now is to go over different situations, okay, where cyber criminals are attacking or targeting regular users, okay, the everyday user of the internet, and they are targeting these people because they are actually very valuable. They have credentials to different social media accounts. They have access to their bank accounts. They have a really nice smartphone with computer power that someone can exploit to mine cryptocurrency. They have experience online, okay? So they will be the ones seeing the advertisement online. They will be the ones that are that someone needs to be the next target for a personalized advertisement, okay? So everything that we do in the moment we become more and more digital, definitely everybody becomes relevant, okay? So it is more and more obvious when we see it from this approach that we need to get protected. Okay, we need to have a simple solution that will make all of these decisions to stay safe on behalf of us. Okay, because this is challenging and more challenging every day. So we are super happy to end another year with a lot of success stories. Okay, so everything that you saw here are success stories that a lot working with different operators around the world managed to keep customers safer online. And Okay, I hope that we will talk in, I don't know, a couple of months and share more of the reality and the things that we find while keeping customers safe and protected. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Eva, for your insightful presentation. And I'd like to remind you to ask questions within the Q&A section on the right-hand side of the screen. And I want to tie this, right? I'll be taking some of these questions in a minute. I want to tie what you have presented into the first question that we usually get: what should we do, right? So, as you know, as said previously, the concept, right, of a thorough security exists, right? And this is the Allot Secure network-based security solution. It is the only 360-degree security solution out there. And it's unified, it's robust, it's scalable, and it's implemented in the core or at the edge of the network. The solution is powered by Network Secure, Home Secure, or DNS Secure, which can be deployed as a standalone or as a virtual function. When customers opt in, then Allot Secure network-based security enforces customer policies, both for security and parental control, to ensure a safe internet experience. Network Secure is deployed for mobile, fixed, and converged networks, and it is already deployed in many operators around the world, in dozens of countries, and even a couple of the world's top 10 telcos. So let's take a few questions from the audience, and maybe we will start with you, Eva. Eva, so I see some of the questions here are asking, where do you collect this material? Where do you get this information? How and when will you be presenting the next one?
Oh, wow. So thank you for that expectation. Actually, we do this exercise, okay, of making a stop, analyzing all of the information that we have, and identify the trends, okay, and identify the let's say insights that we see for the cyber threats targeting consumers and SMBs. This exercise is something that we do at least 2 times a year, okay, by the end of the year, by half of the year. So usually these are the 2 targets that we have. So you can expect a new one definitely by the half when we finish half of the 2024. Where do we get the information? Well, actually, as I mentioned, we're working with dozens of operators around the world. Okay, so we analyze the protection events. Okay, and we not only let's say generate a data analysis with the big figures and numbers, but we also go deeper, and we track the behavior of those domains, of those IPs, okay, that were malicious and were stopped, to understand what type of threat was behind that malicious activity. We want to really understand what is going on, and in this way, it really makes sense for us why it's important. Okay, so what is going on in the market, where cyber criminals are going for, okay, and why it makes a really big difference to be protected and not to be protected. Like every time that I finish analyzing this, I kind of, oh my God, how you cannot be protected. There are so many threats and so many things. And sometimes it's even funny because you see the way and the creativity, okay, of the social engineer tricks that these guys are doing it's amazing. So yeah, the information comes from definitely real life protection events.
Thank you. Thank you, Eva. What other questions do we have here? Maybe one for you, Angel. Okay. Okay, I see some of the people here are asking how can you help to address the problems that were presented earlier?
Okay, as you showed in the previous slide, I mean, we have implemented an ecosystem of security solutions with the goal to protect both SMBs and consumers. So we implemented by means of these solutions the concept of network native security, meaning that by means of these technologies, the CSP has the ability to offer the SMB and the consumer security from the network without the need for the end user to install or configure anything in the device. These technologies are either deployed in the core network, network secure, DNS secure, or remotely deployed in the router from the CSP into the router that you might have at home or in your SMB. In all cases, these technologies will be able to inspect the traffic between your device and the internet, and as such, protect your device from being infected. If the infection happens because, I don't know, there's a lateral infection, a USB that you're plugging into your laptop or any other mechanism that is bypassing any type of security solution, still the solutions have the ability to inspect your traffic and detect when your device is infected and, for instance, trying to connect to a command and control server. Therefore, dropping that connection, isolating the device, and preventing your personal information from being shared with the wild, and therefore your credentials being lost and sold in the dark market. Let's say the advantage of this solution is that, as you mentioned, it provides a 360 view. I mean, it implements this concept of any device, any connection, anytime. So by cooperating, by having all this solution working together under this unified umbrella, which is the Allot Secure Management, allows the end user to configure the solution once and benefit from different layers of security, even inspecting your traffic, and as such, being fully protected, or in cases of infection, that infection being mitigated.
Thank you, Angel. Fascinating. So, well, everyone, as we have reached the end of today's webinar, I want to take this opportunity to thank Eva Apesteguía, our Senior Director of Cyber Marketing. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you, a pleasure.
I want to thank Angel Fernandez, our Vice President of Cybersecurity Products. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for joining today.
And I also want to thank all of you for taking the time from your busy schedules and participating today. I want to remind you that this session has been recorded and will be available on demand. And that brings us to the conclusion of today's event. We look forward to hosting you again on our upcoming webinars. Thank you all for joining. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.